Welcome students, welcome for my next video, History, Standard 8, Struggle for Equality. As we all know that in this world there is inequality. There is rich and the poor people. There are superior and inferiors. There are high caste, there are Dalits. If you look at the family, in family we find, the woman is not given equal status. They are confined in kitchen. They are made to work day in and day out. If you look at the widows, their condition is pathetic. We find widows are exploited in society. So, in this lesson, we are going to see how the workers fought for equality. It may be the people who are working in mills, who are working in railway factories, who are working in various hazardous factories, who are working for the landlords. We find here the struggle for equality. So before I start with this lesson, I request each and every students to kindly like the video if you like it. Kindly subscribe it if you have not subscribed. And share it among your friends. Now, my dear students, as we all know, the class struggle, which is one of the broad philosophy of man's emancipation. Therefore, in the course of this struggle, with the political dependence, there are opposition to things like feudalism, social inequality, economic exploitation. Like freedom, the principle of equality is very important. From the point of view of the contribution of the movement built up by various social groups, such as farmers, workers, women, Dalits, as well as the stream of socialism, we find the importance was given for equality, and they raised a voice against unjust treatment, whether it is farmers, workers, or women. Now I would like to give example of the farmers who raised their voice, who wanted their rights. We will see now. Peasant movement. All Indian farmers had to suffer due to ill effects of British economic policy. As we all know, British economic policy, they were imposing taxes on the farmers. The British government used to protect the landlords and moneylenders. They gave unjust treatment to the farmers. On many occasions, the farmers rose against the injustice. The peasants in Bengal formed their union, revolted against compulsion of cultivating indigo. The play Neel Darpan depicts the voice against cultivation of indigo. Dinbandhu Mitra It was written by Dinbandhu Mitra. The title of the play was Neel Darpan. They brought to the notice of the wretched condition of the farmers by producing indigo. In 1875, farmers in the Maharashtra rose in revolt against the atrocities of the landlords and the moneylenders. The farmers in Uttar Pradesh formed Kisan Sabha in 1918 under the leadership of Baba Ramchandra. The Mopala peasants rose in revolt against the landlords in Kerala, but the British government crushed it. We could also see that in 1936, with the initiative of Professor N.G. Ranga, Akhil Bharatiya Kisan Sabha was established. Swami Sajananda Saraswati was the president of this organization. The Sabha presented Declaration of Peasants' Rights to the Indian National Congress. The session of the Congress was held in a rural part of Faizpur in Maharashtra. Thousands of peasants attended the session. In 1938, crops in eastern Khandesh was destroyed due to heavy rain. The conditions of the farmers were very bad. Their conditions were miserable, wretched. In order to get the land revenue waived, Sani Guruji organized the meeting and a procession at many places, and he took up marches on the office, collector's office, and the peasants participated in a large number in the revolutionary period in 1942. At last, their taxes were waived. My dear students, we could also see the workers' union. There were people who were working in textile mills, railway companies, industries. The worker group had not aroused on large scale, but in the period, efforts were made to solve the problems of the workers. Shashipad Banerjee, Narayan Meghaji Lokhande organized workers at the local level. Lokhande's contribution to the working class movement was so valuable that he was described as the father of Indian workers' movement. At the same time, an agitation was launched against the wretched conditions of tea plantation workers in Assam. In 1899, the plantation, the Great Indian Peninsula, GIP, railway workers called for a strike for their demands for increase in pay, reducing the working hours. During the anti-partition movement, workers carried out strikes time to time in support of Swadeshi. After the First World War, due to industrialization, there was a rise of worker class in India, and then the necessity of the nationwide workers' union was felt. With this necessity, in 1920, All India Trade Union Congress (AITUC) was established. N.M. Joshi had a major role in working of AITUC. Lala Lajpat Rai was the first president of the first session of AITUC. He told the workers to actively participate in the national movement. We could see Sripada Mridange, Muzaffar Ahmad are the socialist leaders. They were responsible to spread the socialist ideology among the workers, to form militant organizations. In 1928, Mumbai Mill Workers Union went on for strike for 6 months. Many such strikes made by the railway workers, the jute mill workers. The government was disturbed to see the growing strength of the workers' movement. To suppress this movement, legislation were made, and the workers' struggle proved to be supportive to the national movement. Now, socialist movement, as we all know, socialism. Our India, though we are democratic, we believe in socialism. Many of our young activists in Indian National Congress felt that protecting the national interests of the people is necessary to overthrow the British government. Similarly, they started realizing that the society should be reconstructed on the principle of economic and social equality. Through this realization, there was a rise in the growth of socialist ideology. The socialist youth, while they were in prison at Nasik, decided to form Socialist Party within the Indian National Congress. According to this decision, in 1934, Congress Socialist Party was formed, which included leaders like Acharya Narendra Dev, Jayaprakash Narayan, Minu Masani, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia. In Quit India movement in 1942, these socialist leaders were in forefront. India introduced to Karl Marx and his communism. Lokmanya Tilak has already written the article on Karl Marx in 1881. After the First World War, the influence of communism was felt in India. Manavendra Nath Roy played an active role in international communist movement. In 1925, Communist Party was formed in India. The work of building militant organization of the workers and the peasants was done by the young communists. The British government started feeling danger of communist movement. Shripad Amrutdangi, Muzaffar Ahmad, Keshav Nilakant Joglekar were arrested. They were charged with planning of conspiracy to overthrow the British rule. They were given different punishments. The trial was taken in Meerut, and it is therefore known as Meerut conspiracy. Even Meerut trial that influences the communist workers movement remained constant. Thank you, my dear students. I request each and every student, kindly like the video if you like it, subscribe it if you have not subscribed it, and share it with others. Thank you and all the best.